Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I've got 3 really easy and cheap DIYs using stuff that you might already have at home. So to start off with, the first DIY I made was this machine kind of blackboard, and basically what I did was took a piece of cardboard, and this was actually just from an old Amazon box that came through the door. I just basically cut a little chunk of it off and drew out the shape of machine down onto it. Now you can use whatever cardboard that you have hanging around. This is a great DIY to use materials that you already have that you might otherwise put in the bin or whatever. But basically what I did was I drew out machine onto this piece of cardboard and just cut this out with my scissors. Now if you want to make a different shape blackboard, you can of course draw a different shape onto this. It could be whatever shape that you want. I mean, the possibilities are endless when you do this DIY. So once my shape was fully cut out, in order to make it into a blackboard, I used this Blackboard Paint that I already had. So to actually draw on the blackboard, I have these pens which are by Chalkola, and I just want to talk about these a second because I was sent these to kind of test them out and stuff, and I was really impressed with them, so wanted to include them in my video. And basically they're just like chalks but in marker pen version, which I think is absolutely fantastic. They come in all these different colours that you can get from Amazon, and you can actually get them on their own website for cheaper, so I'll leave all the links in the description below. But I'm actually really impressed with these, and yeah, like if you're after some chalkboard markers or chalkboard pens, like anything like that, I would really recommend these, as they do really work really well. So what I did was I drew out Pashine's markings all over her in the white pen, and then I actually went ahead and wrote to do on this, and just went ahead with a few of other colours and just wrote out a to-do list. As you can see, you can write anything on top of this, and just with a wet wipe you can just rub it off and you can just start again. Like this pen left fully dry and it just wiped off that easily. Anyway, so to move on to the second DIY, I just used a Nutella jar. I just cleared this out with some boiling water, and then once fully dry I took some matte white spray paint and just spray painted the bottom of the jar. If you don't have spray paint, you can of course use acrylic paint or poster paint, any paint that you have to make this white. Once I had the bottom white, I then moved on with a gold colour and just sprayed the lid in this gold colour also, and then I set it to dry. Once dry, I then moved on with a glitter piece of card and just rolled it into a cone and cut the bottom to make it completely flat. I then hot glued this all into shape and hot glued it to the very top of the Nutella jar lid. So in order to make the flower crown of the unicorn, I then went ahead with some tissue paper and just kind of made these tissue paper like pom-pommy flowers. And to do this I just folded up loads of tissue paper, folded it back and forth to kind of make a little mini fan, and then just cut this off. I then took my stapler and just stapled it halfway down and then just cut out the top to make it more rounded. I then just put little snips down some of the little fan bits and then kind of just spreaded out all that excess kind of tissue paper to make a little kind of pom-pommy like flower. I did this 5 times to make my flower garland to go around the horn, and then what I did was just basically cut off the excess off the back and then just hot glued them down in place around that horn on top of the Nutella jar lid. Now I actually got this idea from Pinterest. Like, I've been seeing these jars all over and I just love them, so I had to make one. Anyway, so what I then did was took my gold marker that I absolutely love, which is by Rust-Oleum. It's a gold leafing pen and just does the nicest gold. And basically I just drew 2 little eyes, and then I put my jar onto my shelf, which was then just ready to be used. So for my third DIY, I decided I wanted to paint a picture, and I was actually going to do a plushie, but I figured that I need to do more painting because my painting skills, they're just not up to scratch, and I really want to get better at painting. So I figured today I would just paint a nice big picture. So that's what I've been doing all morning, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm sat here recording this right now and I am covered in blue paint from this, so yeah, there's always that. So basically what I did was I took this board that I had left over, and it had loads of marks on and everything, but I figured I would paint over it and just make it worthwhile. So I painted the whole thing with blue acrylic paint, and then with some white acrylic paint I just kind of blotched some bits on it and kind of swirled them round to make a cloud-like effect, and I did this whilst the blue was still dry so that it really blended in. Once I had all the cloud bits and I left it to fully dry, I then took my pencil and drew out a rough avocado type shape, and then I mixed up a greeny olivey colour and just painted this whole shape in this colour. I didn't bother painting the middle as I didn't really want to waste any paint, as you wouldn't be seeing this bit in this colour anyway, so I just kind of made sure the lines on the outside were really nice and neat and just like really opaque. What I then did was added some white to this colour and made it into a really nice minty kind of green, and I just drew out that rough avocado shape again, but slightly tilted like to the right so that it was kind of offset, so that it looked a little bit more 3D. What I then did was moved on to some brown and just did a circle in the middle of the avocado and just set this slightly offset to the right also to make it a little bit more 3D. So what I then did was I drew on some wings with some white acrylic paint, and this is just using an opaque white to make them really stand out. Now this idea was actually from some gift wrap that I had quite a while ago. It's by the brand Central 23. If you haven't heard of them, go onto my Instagram, look at my little avocado notebook, because honestly it's the cutest thing ever. I absolutely love that brand, and they brought out a avocado gift wrap with like this kind of avocado on with wings and stuff, and it said holy guacamole on it, and I thought it was the funniest thing. So anyway, I really wanted some of that for a background, but I couldn't get hold of any of it anymore, so I figured I would just paint one myself. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just basically painting the avocado, kind of inspired by that. It is a little bit different because I'm not very good at painting, but this is all I got to work with, so that's all I can do. So anyway, I took a black dotting tool and just kind of popped the eyes on, offsetting them to the right again in the same way as the avocado, and just painted on the mouth in between this. I then took the same gold Rust-Oleum marker that I did in the previous DIY, and I just popped a little halo on top of the avocado's head and added some highlight to the eyes as usual. Once all this paint was fully dried, my painting was then complete. So I'm super happy with how this actually turned out. Like, I suck at painting, but I think this one turned out pretty okay. And I'm actually going to pop this underneath where my pusheen calendar is. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was super fast, but you know, that's all I did for today, and I hope you enjoyed it anyway. So if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!